So, have you ever taken one of those DNA tests? You know, the ones where you spit in a tube to find out where your ancestors are from? Millions and millions of us have. We send it in hoping to find a long-lost cousin or maybe just connect with our past. But here's the thing, that same exact technology, the one built on our curiosity about family trees, has accidentally become one of the most powerful and, yeah, controversial new tools for catching criminals. It's turning our spit samples into keys that can unlock secrets that have been buried for decades. I mean, think about it. You send in your sample, and you're picturing a map of Europe or a connection to a third cousin in another state. But what if I told you that the very same data could also crack open a 40-year-old murder mystery? For most of us, this is the whole point, right? You get this cool chart, you see the percentages, you find family you never knew you had. It's all a very personal journey. But in 2018, that same personal journey of discovery led police right to the front door of a man who terrorized California for years. And this, right here, is where the story takes a massive turn, from a simple hobby into a forensic revolution. All right, so let's dive into the case that blew this whole thing wide open, the hunt for the Golden State Killer. For decades, this guy was a complete ghost, a phantom who just vanished after every crime, leaving investigators with nothing. I mean, just look at this timeline. The sheer scale of what he did is mind-boggling. He started with burglaries, then escalated to dozens and dozens of rapes, and then a string of brutal murders all over the state. He had so many different nicknames that for years, police didn't even realize it was all the same guy. Then, nothing. The trail went cold for decades. It was complete silence until suddenly, in 2018, the ghost was caught. And here's why the case went cold for so long. Investigators knew it was one man. They had his DNA from multiple crime scenes. But when they ran that DNA through CODIS, that's the official FBI criminal database, they got absolutely nothing. No hits, no leads. It was like having a key but no lock to put it in, a total genetic dead end. So how on earth did they finally find him? Well, they had to think way outside the box. They turned away from the criminal databases and looked at a place with millions of DNA profiles uploaded by regular people like you and me. This is where genealogy became forensic science. Okay, so check out the difference here, because it's huge. The FBI's database, CODIS, is powerful, but it's basically looking for a perfect match, like finding your twin. It uses about 20 genetic markers. Forensic genealogy? It's a whole different league. It scans around 850,000 markers, and it isn't looking for the killer himself. It's looking for his family, even a third or fourth cousin. It's not about finding a needle in a haystack. It's about finding the entire family of needles on the whole farm. And this process was some serious detective work. First, they uploaded the killer's crime scene DNA to a public site, GEDmatch. Bam. They got hits. Not on him, but on some of his distant relatives. Then, a genealogist worked for 4 months, like a detective, building this giant family tree, trying to figure out where all the branches connected. This massive tree pointed them to a couple of potential suspects, including Joseph DeAngelo. So, they put him under surveillance, waited for him to throw a tissue in the trash, and grabbed it. They tested the DNA, and it was a perfect match. After 40 years, they had him. So, the Golden State Killer was caught. Case closed, justice served. But this amazing breakthrough ripped open a total Pandora's box of ethical questions that, honestly, affect every single one of us now. And this is the real dilemma, isn't it? On one side, you've got public safety. I mean, this tech can solve the absolute worst, most unsolvable crimes out there. But on the other side, you've got genetic privacy. Because to find that one guilty person, investigators might have to comb through the genetic data of hundreds, maybe thousands of innocent relatives, all without them ever knowing. There's actually a concept for this that ethicists talk about. It's called proportionality. The idea is, does the incredible benefit, like catching a serial killer, outweigh the harm, the privacy invasion for all his innocent relatives? It's a tough question, and it's all about where we decide to draw that line. It seems like the public has a pretty strong instinct about where that line is. When surveyed, a whopping 80% of people were okay with using this tech to solve violent crimes like murder. But look at this, that support totally craters to just 39% for something like a property crime. So it seems we all get that idea of proportionality, even if we don't use the word. Okay, so this brings the whole conversation right back around to you, to us. If you've sent your DNA in, what kind of protections do you really have? Let's take a look at that fine print we all ignore. We've all been there. You get that giant wall of text, the terms of service, and you just scroll, 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 and click, I agree. But when it comes to your DNA, what you're actually agreeing to can have consequences you never ever thought about. And what's kind of shocking is how unprotected your genetic data actually is. HIPAA, the law that keeps your medical records private, yeah, that usually doesn't apply to these companies. And get this, life insurance companies can often legally use your genetic info against you. Maybe worst of all, these companies can change their privacy policies whenever they want. Your DNA basically becomes a corporate asset, something that can be sold off if the company goes bankrupt, just like office chairs. So maybe you're sitting there thinking, okay, well, I've never taken one of these tests, so I'm in the clear. It's a totally logical thought. But unfortunately, it's just not true. See, your genetic privacy isn't just about your choices anymore. If even one of your relatives, even a distant third cousin, uploads their DNA, you are now automatically part of that searchable network. You've essentially become what experts call a genetic witness, without ever giving your consent, without ever even knowing it happened. And that really leaves us with this one final, pretty chilling question to think about. When your cousin or your aunt uploaded their DNA just to find their roots, did they, without meaning to, hand law enforcement a kind of genetic warrant for your entire family's DNA? That's the incredibly complex world we're living in now.